Alright, motherfuckers. I think I'm kind of ready to. Oh shit, I've been talking here this whole time and my fucking mic wasn't even on. Christ almighty. I was talking up a storm too. Alright, quick recap. Just for posterity. I came in hot. And who am I kidding? A little hot and bothered. It was kind of a joyous day after the pummeling that Christy Nome took yesterday. To find out that she got fired. After getting dealt with by an oversight committee and just like rough handled. Like homegirl had to know that shit was gonna happen. She couldn't possibly be dumb enough. And I mean, I say that as a figure of speech, even though it's the most ironic shit ever. But I mean, she had her husband there for moral support, and I think she figured that them old lefties, they would play by their same old rules. And that's not to give these guys fucking credit, because let's face it, they still got Schumer in place, and Schumer is a fucking bitch. He could have just absolutely, before it came to any of this point, they could have absolutely kept the government shut down the first time long enough so that everybody's health care wasn't affected. So that people weren't paying through the nose for shit that they shouldn't be paying through the nose for. So I don't know much where I was going with that, but I was just, oh, well, yeah, Chuck Schumer, fuck him. Because, yeah, these establishment Republicans, or Republicans, but Democrats, they're the ones fucking with us now. They're the ones that gotta go. Like, we gotta get rid of motherfuckers. Because they are going to slow walk fucking everything. So really, I'm dying for progressives to start coming out, just swinging Mom Donnie style. Go for the fucking throat. This ain't yesterday. It sure to fuck ain't. So, long and short, Christy Nome thought that shit was off the table. But no. Her man was sitting there when they started asking her about why is she putting a bedroom on a private jet. What kind of creepy ass shit is that? Ain't nothing but fucking perverts in Washington, D.C., I'm telling you. Nothing but perverts. But yeah, Democrats, they weren't playing as nice as they could have. They brought the receipts and shit. But you know, what the fuck ever. Fucking perverts in Washington, D.C., I'm telling you. That really is a what the fuck ever to me. In a way. Because it should have been done and done. But we've just got too many of the old guard sitting around soaking up lobbyists and continuing to pad their own retirement plans. See if we can get this a little more dialed in. So I'm telling you. So what I always talk about, I want that depth. Depth in these paintings. Light. Make it convincing. There's nothing wrong with trying to go for spectacular, goddammit. This little rag thing here to pick up some of this way too much paint I put down by being a bit of a tool bag, just a little bit. Some actual light sources up in this bad boy. That is going to allow us a certain amount of freedom when we start getting more detail on this side, because we've got the hard blend we've got to do down here, and I need to stop fucking about, because I know I messed up over here. I'm just being stupid and not acknowledging it. God damn it, why me? So yeah, just back on the subject of my happiness over the situation of watching somebody get busted out in front of Congressional Oversight Committee. You had sexual relations? How dare you? How this is tabloid sensationalism. Well, we heard from many staffers that after getting off the plane, there was always a odd smell of cat food and ass. Like, imagine being a fucking staffer to these government folk that made they were custom fitting an airplane for mile high activity. What the fuck? What the actual fuck, man? They were going for it. But imagine, you know, you're just minding your own, like, all right, I have to get this plan together while these guys are, you know, doing their fucking thing out in Iowa, inspecting the fucking prison camps and shit. Making sure that, you know, their mandate is being followed. They're correctly torturing and targeting brown people. And, you know, you're one of the flight crew on this shit. So how exciting it must be to just be going in the back to collect some garbage, and you're like, why are my shoes sticky? And then you look down and you realize, and here's another Jackson Pollock reference, but it looks like somebody painted the goddamn floor with a Jackson Pollock virtuoso type of style. You gotta know what it is. So yeah. The depravity, man. The depravity on that shit. The unmitigated gall. Am I depraved? I'm flat out surprised that I'm not on here doing naked pictures. But I'm not a government official who retrofitted my fucking $20 million plane, or was it $150 million? I can't remember how much those stupid things cost. Retrofitted it like it was a goddamn studio for my Pornhub channel. Oh, I gotta say, good sir. Can we please keep some additional towels on board? Perhaps some sanitary napkins. Alright, this is starting to look like a 3D real person. I like it. I like it a lot. Alright, let's get some of that darker orange in here, because that is what this color is. Oh well, that's a lot. So yeah, that's the shit that keeps me warm during the daytime. When I'm working, I'm seeing these news screens roll by with the goddamn closed captioning, so I can really most of the time I don't even get to hear what they're saying. It's something I have to discover in hindsight, after the fact. And so I get to read the juicy details beforehand. It's kind of like when they questioned Pam Bondi. Old Pamela. How dare you? How dare the Dow? The Dow. She full-throated the Dow out there. I loved how that was a true state of bewilderment. Donald Trump, you people, the Dow has hit 50,000. What were we talking about? Like a pedophile ring just now? All right. And so that is a bit of a current obsession. But like I say, it could be better. We're in a way because the reps on the other side of the aisle, for the first time, they actually did a little bit to take charge. You know, they can get some credit for that, but not a whole fucking lot, because that is the minimum that they should be doing. That really is the absolute fucking minimum. And really, I can't even say it should be the minimum, because they need to get fucked with for not doing more than that. You know, I know it's a bit of an uphill battle, but how much are you going to compromise, you assholes, so you can stay comfortable? Being Captain Tryhard for the people that fucking elected you. Because, yeah, she got fired. That doesn't give people that actually needed their SNAP benefits back. That doesn't take back the missiles that Fuckstick launched at Iran. And really, you know, people will say, oh, well, are you in support of the Iranian regime? No. No. Certainly not. Violations are violations, of which there are plenty here right now. Is this going to work? I think it'll work. Alright, we're getting some dimensionality, mofos. But that false equivalency shit is people just rely on it all over the place. You know, some people are laying in wait to make some stupid false equivalencies. And the funny thing is that's like their little short-term victory. They can feel like they won something by springing up something unexpected or not well known. You know, not something that they're expecting some friggin' jerkweed to try to debate them on some college campus. Oh yeah, that's a nice kind of peachy color. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. And we're going to go ahead and start going darker right about here, because that's really where it starts on this painting. Let's get a little more of this so we can blend it a little nicer. Oh, heck yeah. That's good there, Victor. Now, anybody watching probably ain't old enough to get the reference of me saying Victor. That is from the movie version of a Sherman Alexie book. There's a character named Victor, who he was always bugged by a fella that he grew up with named Thomas Builds the Fire. I can't remember Victor's last name. Just Thomas was so much more distinct because his name was Builds the Fire. That, and he was mad nerdy and obsessed with Victor's dad. Victor had daddy issues. But he talked a really certain way. Thomas was a storyteller. People liked the stories he told. And he would always tell stories about Victor's dad. Hey Victor, one time your dad took me to Denny's. I had a grand slam. And it just always bugged the shit out of Victor. Not out of meanness or, well, maybe a little bit jealous in a way. Because in the story, his history with Victor's dad was a lot different than Victor's history with his dad. But it was based on a book by Sherman Alexie, and if you don't know Sherman Alexie, I'd recommend some reading, because Thomas and Victor, in the story, they're Spokane Indians. They are off that just for me. Oh yeah, this is coming together. That liquidy stuff a bit too much. I've thinned it down probably a smidge too dark. Too thin, I should say. Just a bit too thin. Looks like everything's going all right so far on the broadcast. Yeah, it's showing me off live. On, oh, what is this stupid thing? Blue Sky. Oh, shit. I better do a like. We got somebody doing the torque appreciation posts. Oh man, there's some artists out tonight. Yep. So we'll see how engagement goes with this setup on Blue Sky. I did kind of drop out of activity on there for a while because really not a lot of people went over to it, and it kind of sucked because there was a lot of people that I didn't know going over to it, but it wasn't a lot of ways to engage aside from liking stuff that the people who'd already been in there forever already had pretty much all of the followers that you could get straight up monopolized. Well, I shouldn't use a dastardly word like that, but you know what I mean. They just beat everybody to the punch. Kind of hard to break away from the pack like that, but I'm willing to put the energy in, considering now there's a little live icon that comes up on your thing if you so wish. Profile is what I meant. So if people come across your feed and they see, oh man, I really like that art that they put together. They're live right now. Shit. Time for popcorn and some liquor. That's probably the worst snack idea ever. That would not be complimentary. Do that. Not too much harm. Getting a little more painterly than I would like to get right there. Yeah, a little more unsettling as an adult with kids, especially with the now national exposure of child trafficking rings, watching Michael Myers walk around at an elementary school. What the fuck, Haddonfield? Start some of these supreme blend-ins. Things I always like to say is, don't be afraid of painting over. Make the goddamn mistakes. How are you gonna know it's working if you don't fire it up? Color in here for the sake of some shadow. Luckily that is orange enough that a tiny smidge of blue is going to do the trick. Nice. Oh yes. Yeah, look at that. Color blending, man. Can you believe it? Yeah, it sounds a little too much like Buddy the Elf. Which, I guess that's genetic. My daughter came back here the other day. She was in pain. And I can't remember for the life of me what transpired, except for the fact that there was a just thunderous, and when I say thunderous, that fucking means it, because I've cut loose on some burps and the other bodily noises that, I mean, shit. The windows gotta be double paned. Double pane the fucking windows. But here comes the youngin' out of nowhere and just fucking, I think she probably, when she let it rip, a couple mice outside probably died. Probably forced a family of squirrels to move the fuck out. But she dropped it. It's like an 808 fucking bass. Just loud enough that I could hear it over this music when I had my headphones on. She saw me. I don't know if you've ever seen a dog react to a firecracker. That's how I reacted. Just the entire body flinched. And I turned around. She's behind me at her computer. This very matter-of-factly says, "Did you hear that?" That could be a question for the ages, but what the fuck? Like, seriously, my peeps. Did you hear that? No, I couldn't hear fucking concert level goddamn decibels. Give it another shot. Yeah, you know it's bad when animals react. Because that's where it wound up. Dang, I have completely neglected these little brushes over here. Bad man. He was a bad daddy. Nope. Let's get a little bit of the mixy stuff up on here. Yeah, that's looking like a real life shadow now. Put a little bit of that down here. Gonna keep the continuity because there is a shadow being cast by her eyelashes. And that'll be there when we're going to start going a little deeper. plenty of time before I gotta be at work in the morning. Oh, fuck that shit. I don't wanna be late no more. I don't wanna be a bad guy anymore. Very good. Very, very good. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a little bit of a blending going on here with this a true blue. Just regular old blue. And I know I'm keeping that space for the glasses, but honestly, it'd probably be a lot easier to just paint it over. Because ultimately, I've got this picture out here. If I need to redo it, and I've also got the reference picture over here, and I've got the fucking picture on the screen, so there's no shortage of reference. So I can go over it and scrape in new reference marks if I need to. And really, I don't want to stay 100% trying to make this look like the person, because I'm just really trying to get that light quality. That is what I go for. I know when I used to say that, people would get all excited. Do you like Thomas Kincaid? Thomas Kincaid. Thomas fucking Kincaid. That's really me silent, actually, thinking about that. Brings up a little bit of indignation. Alright, people. These colors are coming together. Very nicely. So before I wrap this up, because I have some good... Hello? Haunted. I've got some good depth developing. So I'm going to start getting some of that blue laid in. That way, we can match that friggin' energy. Game, set, match. Going for the neck. replaced it. I'm going to do an old school trick when I'm done. I'm going to go get a little bit of like plastic wrap and just put it over the top. Now, it'll dry out some overnight, but it'll give it a fighting chance, in essence, to be usable tomorrow. Let's see how my broadcasts are doing. Just a quick check. Absolutely nobody watching, but that's how I roll. Lone wolf-ish. But it looks like, yeah, everything is still alive. Oh, I even had a couple of people stop by on Instagram. But yeah, the Prism software is some good stuff. I gotta get this neck filled in a bit. That's how we're going to go about it. That's how we win the war, a little piece at a time. Speaking of, I heard a speech today from Mr. Pete Hegseth. Big deal, you know. Apparently the United States doesn't have to do all that old-fashioned shit, you know. Well, maybe not old-fashioned, because I think he would term it as the woke, PC, politically correct, rules of warfare. Okay, just what kind of asshole does that? And I say that, and then I get completely distracted with an attack plan for getting this neck rendered. Yeah, I gotta open the other one. The gold. No, not Photoshop. That shit's gonna crash my system. God damn it. Alright, you guys. I'm probably ready for bed. You got that well better be. Esteban Viejo. If you don't know Senor Esteban Viejo, I may not want to know you. Bigger brush on this, and I think I will. Let's not belabor this point, fellas. loveliest of ways later. Right now, we just gotta get this shit covered. Alright, I guess I do need that purple. Or the ultra dark blue. Do I have the ultra dark blue? I call it ultra dark blue. Do you know what the actual color is? Fucking navy blue. It's the super dark one. This is the evil Superman colored one. And I shouldn't complain because ultimately I'm gonna reach my inner 5-year-old to do most of my descriptors for me. That's the impulse anyway. And everybody's got an inner 5-year-old. Never goes away. Always exists. To your last breath, he's there. Little fella full of wonder. Always chances to make it happen. Alright, let's get some lighter blue on there. Perfect. Going to be better. Oh yeah, they're gonna take a lot of. Well, we'll take a lot of pain tomorrow. Not today. No way, Jose. Shit rhymes, bro. This will be my first blending challenge officially right here. And this is actually just pseudo blending because I'm mostly removing the paint. Whoa. call it good for tonight, because even on camera I can see that that is starting to take on a very real characteristic. Lovely. I'm happy with it. Who's watching over here? Shit. I gotta do something to get my viewership up on, what's that goddamn place? Instagram. I have people that show up and I think they watch for like a minute and a half. It could also be because that's like all of my other platforms are the full screen 16:9 aspect ratio on that ass. Good old IG does not have that aspect ratio available. Not even turning your phone sideways. Shine it up real nice and stick it straight up their candy asses. So that is where that is. I'll go ahead and toss the brushes, the ones that I didn't use, into my little kit. Like I said, good trick. Gonna go get some of that cling wrap, put it in there. That paint is gonna keep overnight at least. Another little trick you can do is refrigerate it. That really cuts down on the evaporation. Changes the viscosity a little bit, but if you let it sit out and get room temperature, you're fine. All right. All the knowledge of old guys at your service and shit. But anyhow, so yeah, that's where we're at with our paintings. That's where we are at. The state of the nation under a blossoming dictatorship, and really a weird dictatorship. Every time I see some of these guys, some of the cohorts come on TV, and it's like that's all they're doing it for is you know, is TV moments, the sensationalism. You have Hegseth and these assholes they're all saying like catchphrases and branding type of shit. And the funniest thing about Kristi Noem is ultimately she was just doing his bidding. She ain't no billionaire. She might have money, but she ain't no billionaire. Them billionaires, man. When you have enough money to buy something that no one would think of buying, like one fucking day you're casually like, you know what? I don't know if this is a good investment. I just like the experience of owning a taxi service in Japan. Not necessarily Tokyo. You know, maybe I'll just buy out all the taxi services on Okinawa. And you can just fuck around and do that. Doing things like making bets that it would be impossible to bet enough that you could actually do damage to yourself, since people have fortunes that gathers so much interest that it never shrinks. More than they could spend in several hundred lifetimes. To a lot of them people, the reason human lives are cheap is because they do put a dollar value on them. And it's more of a utility thing. We're the ones that do the jobs for them. They're employees, they're workers, and they don't seem to see the value in that because they can just get more. Everybody's always looking for work. So when somebody is laying off, what was it? Good old Glamazon the other day. Maybe it was a couple of weeks ago, but they laid off like 30,000 people. 30,000 people. That's an entire town. A fairly good sized town. You know, big enough for a decent sized post office, a high school, middle school, and probably a few elementary schools. 30,000 people. Just casually giving them the pink slip. You know, doing that seasonal workers type of designations. But I digress. Christy Nome ain't them. She may get a pardon, but she ain't never gonna be a billionaire. And therefore, she's closer to us than she is to them. She may be too stupid to realize that to a fellow like Dear Leader, when you talk about lives are lost in war, sometimes lives are lost. That's what happens in war. Except if you ask me under oath, it's not a war. It's a skirmish. But yeah, that's essentially where it is. It's just pieces on a game board. And so you may, have a little bit of a sense of loyalty to people. That's why he pardons them. But it's ultimately because there's a usury relationship there. They may have to spend a little time in the Slimer, even if he pardons them. But you never know. One of these days when he has one of his shit fits, that stroke might just pow. And the bowels will be fantastically loose. Looser than normal. We're not talking tent state injury loose. We're talking like friggin' car accident brain trauma loose bowels. Horrible thought. But the fuckery might stop to the degree it is right now fairly quickly. However, I digress. I have this right here. I'm glad I was able to get that much done, and it's relatively early compared to the nights that I'm really into it. And I say into it like I'm making progress. Usually it's just beating my head against the wall and seeing what's working and what's not. But this tonight was working. And so this is where I leave it. May come back tomorrow. Trying to decide if I'm going to have a warm-up playing some video games or if I'm just going to get to it like I did tonight. Maybe do some awesome, super dramatic news headlines. Just depends, baby. And I am still looking for people to collab with. So if you watch this after the fact, hit me up. Let me know if you want to be on. Little interaction never hurt nobody. And if you happen to have your own platform with doing whatever you do, and it did. You know, I do art on mine. You don't have to do art. You can be 100% about politics or fucking crocheting or whatever you do. Politics is definitely in the mix. Might be able to have some good discussions. But yeah, ultimately, I'm game. Community supports each other. So I digress. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. And as I leave, just remember, I always have the ending screen for a reason. Because for now, until they're gone, fuck ICE. And fuck the motherfuckers who got them here. If you stop by, I love you. Thanks for your support. And we will talk soon.